Hello, my name is Charlie Kennedy, and I play Paris.
I'm Erin Spinner, and I play Lady Capulet.
I'm Greta Thorne, and I play Nurse.
My name is Josh Diaz, and I play Lord Montague.
Hi, I'm Nick Gagan, and I play Romeo.
I'm Beth Carlson, and I play Juliet.
So what you do is the scene will get there a few days beforehand, and you'll choose someone to audition with. Grab the scenes, and you'll have a day or two to go over them, practice them, figure out what the character is about for your audition. This is usually in front of Mr. Simon or Mr. Perry, whoever the director is for that show. You then perform the audition, and shortly after, a couple days later, you'll hear about the show.
The audition process for most North shows is pretty much the same. There's a 2-day period where everyone will read sides that are the same part of the script. Usually with a partner, there's no monologues. Simon will, based off of how you read those, kind of categorize what parts he might want to see you again in, if he wants to see you in parts again, which is why some people don't get callbacks, even though they may be cast in a show.
So the callback list is out. You go and check, and your name's right on it.
The fact that you're here is a good sign, okay? There's a lot of roles I am not going to read today.
So the callback then happened after both days of auditions, after Simon had kind of categorized every person at the callback. He usually is a very open-ended director and says, take risks, like make choices with characters.
This part of directing is what I hate most, because I hate disappointing people. And this requires me to disappoint people. I've already disappointed about 18 people because they didn't get called back. But as I always say, if I cast my shows well, 90% of my work is done. It becomes a lot easier from there.
That is an enemy to thee. Had I written it, I would tear the word.
By a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
By a name, I know not to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to thyself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I written it, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
My ears have yet not drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague? My ears have not drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb. The place death considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
Love's light wings thy work curse these walls. For stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, dare love's attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me.
I think one interesting part about rehearsals for this show is that it started out pretty slow. We did something called First Folio, and basically the first 2 weeks of it was just Mr. Simon telling us how to read the script. There were words that were not real words. Instead of a U, there'd be a V, or there'd be extra E's in a word. So just that entire first 2 weeks was a little slow, but it definitely helped all of us kind of create that bond.
And have their palates both for sweet and sour, as husbands have. So it compares the two of them in that way. Contrast is subtly different from comparison. Contrast in Shakespeare usually involve pairs of opposites. Day and night, light and dark, hard and soft.
We had about a couple weeks of doing just learning about First Folio, what all of the different words meant, and pronunciation of the EDs and the echophonesis O. And then from there we transitioned into classrooms. It's a really fun process. You have a lot of downtime. So you get to meet and see a bunch of new people and create new memories with that.
I don't know.
Well, it's always hard when somebody comes up with, somehow you guys have pulled it out, because when somebody comes up with a really hard word, you're like,
Here's the question. We came from England.
I learned that.
How did we get Southern accents? How did we de-evolve in our language?
There's stuff below.
You're so right!
Okay, hold on.
It was like, I
So we're gonna go all the way down to the south. Y'all are just chilling down in the hillbilly states.
And that's also a
I
poor
think
people
what
thing,
happened
so-
was
First of all,
the
I'm going to
south
say
they
something
got-
that is also a poor people.
The further south they got, the hotter it got in the laser you get because you're too lazy to move your mouth as much. So they were like, wow,
Okay.
I'm a samurai, and this is my sword.
I got my sword.
Wait, how does this game work? I think
It's really hard
it's
to
like
do.
you're supposed to keep
Really
going.
hard to
Okay,
do.
we'll
That's two
start.
stars.
I can start. I'm a samurai, and this is my sword.
I have no idea where I am. I just lost it. I have no idea where I am.
I am too young. I pray you pardon me. But, and you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze where you will. You shall not house with me. Look to it. Think on it. I do not use to jest. Thursday is near. Lay hand on heart. Advise. And you be mine, I'll give you to my friend. And you be not, hang, beg, starve, die in the streets.
So Danny, you gotta open up so you can see Juliet coming.
Happily met, my lady and my wife.
That may be, sir, when I...
So on that line, cross to her, Danny, you're gonna counter that cross, but you're gonna let him cross in front of downstage of you. So you need to be farther up. There we go. Let's do that cross, please.
So, memorizing lines is very fun. It can be an interesting process. It's really up to the beholder who how you memorize your lines.
Llamas. What the hell is llama's tied? Wait, I thought llamas to llamas. How long is it till llama's tied?
Here's much to do with
And pretty full. It's did
loving,
said I.
loving hate, anything of nothing first create. Misshapen chaos of well-seen forms.
Says,
That
I
is
might
what
live to see me married once. I have my wish.
This love lie, I feel no lovingness.
Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stand to this position when you marry?
Is that honor? Oh, whatever. That I dream not of.
Old Montague's bound as well as I, a penalty alike. She's the hopeful lady of my birth. Woo her, yet her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agreed within her scope.
Fighting is wonderful. Oh, I love fighting. I don't like physical fighting, but fighting in the show is great because it seems so real to everyone else, but you know exactly what's going on. Which, in its way, is a little sad because through the process, you figure out every single move that you're going to make, the moves your opponent's going to make, and you go through it slowly. But when you get on stage, even though you know exactly what's going to happen, there's that rush of not really knowing because it's you against one other person to the death. So whatever goes, goes.
Here, in that engagement here, if you come across and shoot for the gap that I've now created, so I'm here. If you remove yourself and then try and stab me right in the thigh, right there. Yeah. Now feel how you can get the weapon around like this. Try and actually stab it. Yeah. Feel that? How you can turn the weapon and stab into me? That's what you want to shoot for, yeah? Two, three. Here, down, slash. Here, I come, chain beat, cut, cut. Yeah? So, at the same time they're doing chain beat, cut, cut. And this can happen in its own pacing. We'll see how it looks when we get here. You're forced up the steps, you're up at the top, yeah? So we're going to come from this high line. He has the advantage being higher because he can thrust down at you, right? So that's precisely what she's going to do. She's going to come and thrust towards you and try and come down the steps back towards you.
Genevieve, remember that swashing blow?
Heart fools, put up thy swords, for you know not what you do.
So tech is an entire process that is pretty much ever-changing for every show that you're in. Tech day one, your first day is pretty much on the stage and you're figuring out the new blocking now that you have a bigger space to work in. For the actors, it's reblocking everything with the bigger space, and now like with this show, the new platforms and what's on the platform and off. Tech is the big portion of why the entire week is so hectic, and it's because it's the first time where everything's running smoothly, so the actors are really only there as placeholders to understand where the lighting needs to go, to get mic cues done, which is a huge portion of it, but then also during the entire tech week, there's people painting the set constantly, there's people building the set, so it kind of like progresses every day towards the final set.
The best part about Tech Week is for sure the inside jokes that we all make throughout the entire week, because they stick with you forever. Even now, all the inside jokes that we've made during Romeo and Juliet still stick with us, and we still laugh and joke about them.
We are here to remember the life.
Shut up, no.
Shh, everyone close your eyes, bow your heads.
It's a bedtime story.
I'll lead us in prayer.
Pray I hold our smiles on Friday night, checkering these clouds and streaks of light. Out there the sun advances burning high, the days are chill, the nights take you drunk. I must fulfill this osier cage of ours. Precious juicy flowers. The earth, that's nature's mother, that is her show. What is her burying grave, that is her
But you know,
I would say the best part is probably just like when you have downtime, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take a nap. And like the naps are really, cause like it's a quality nap, cause like you don't get home until like 9:30 like every night, and like, oh, you guys still gotta do homework, so you're really tired like all the time. Like when you take a nap like on the floor of the Impact, it hits different.
My costume was a fat suit. It was like a stuffed t-shirt underneath the rest of my costume, which consisted of just like a red dress and an apron and a wimple. Kind of choked me, but that's okay.
I would say my favorite part is probably just hanging out in the boys' dressing room, because we always get into some kind of like shenanigans or something.
The girls' dressing room is fun because it's a place where sure you can get in character, but it's also a way to decompress, especially with the show being so heavy and sad, especially at the end. I remember there was one time we had everybody in there and we were having like philosophical debates about like time. I don't even know, but it's a way where the girls can just bond. We listen to music, we have fun, get ready.
The other way? Yeah, that's okay, so the bench is supposed to be.
So, here's what I will say. Parting words. You're ready. You need an audience. You've done this enough. You know what you're doing. Now you need an audience that will help you a ton. You need to focus. You need to just be thinking about your backstory. You need to be thinking about before you go on stage. Tonight, some carelessness is what is happening by the end. And we've been doing this a long week. It's a long week. We've been doing this since Friday. So anyway, but that said, you're going to be terrific. People are going to really like this show. It really has come together this week. I'm really proud of what you've done. But just make sure you avoid silly mistakes like forgetting props and that sort of thing, okay?
The feeling before the first show, it's a mix. It's a mix of you feeling like you're gonna pee or throw up, and that feeling of this is one of the most exciting moments of your life. Because you don't know how the show is gonna go, but you have a strong feeling that it's gonna go exactly how you want it to. All you know is that the show is gonna happen and you are there for it.
I for sure think that the best part of show dates is getting ready with each other. I know we'd always just play music and dance around like crazy people.
No, it doesn't look weird. Wait! From that to be still the one. I only know the part.
I don't know the words at all.
Wie befiehlt sie Kau Clover? Sie Kau.
coffee in a proper cover pot. Take iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. Yeah! I can't have coffee in a proper Ricky Tiki Tum Tum. Muzza Muzza Muzza. Ooh la 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 la. Ukulele. Ricky Tiki Tum Tum. Muzza Muzza Muzza. Ooh la la la.
Amazing places.
Thank you. Energy, 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 energy.
But this is it. This is the time to have really, really, really fun with this, what you've been doing. The audiences have been very receptive. There have actually been some laughs for the nurse, which is lovely to hear, because she's lovely as the nurse. And it's just, you're all doing a really, really fabulous job. It's been really fun to watch. It's been really fun to do. It's the last time you're going to do it. So as a unit, as an ensemble together. And so the idea is, again, to be there for each other, to look at each other, to listen to each other, to think about your characters, to think about what you want in each moment. And because this is it, you want to go out the best way you know how. You really want to feel like, hey, this was absolutely the best thing that we ever did.
What I love about theater is that with a character, you can build it using your own strengths and weaknesses so that when people come to see the show, they can relate to your character and are moved and the story can change them.
I do theater because of all the friends that I've made throughout it. Since my freshman year, the people that I've been in theater with have really stuck with me all 4 years now that I'm a senior, and we still do shows together. My very first show, my freshman year, I was in it with Anna Snyder, and now her and I actually just directed a play. So just having those bonds that you have all throughout high school.
Theater has this like really cool ability to like transform who you are into someone else, and you can take like your past experiences and like make them into somebody else, which is something that not many like other clubs or activities get to do. Like if you're playing sports, you're not able to take like past experiences and then develop a character and develop a strong connection to that character with it, and then you have obviously a strong cast and crew to like support that. But there's just such an interesting like aura and like excitement that goes to it. Being on stage, just like the quietness, it's just you and your scene partner, or you and your group of scene partners, and it fills you with so much joy, or me at least, with so much joy, and I love it, and I want to do it for like the rest of my life.
Theater is special to me for a few reasons. First of all, the majority of my friends are in it, so it's a time for me to hang out with them and just spend time with the people that I care about. The other reason is that in theater, you're not playing yourself. You are becoming another character, another person. You are figuring out a separate life and having to forget about you. You don't have to worry about a few things like homework or home life. You just have that one opportunity to forget everything and be someone else.
I absolutely love theater because it hosts some of the best memories, but it also has taught me so much. My takeaways from the show are not always specifically about playing characters or acting. I've learned so many life lessons from the characters I play in every show and from the experience that I get out of every show. Being in different ensembles, being off stage with the people in the cast teaches me so much about myself and also just high school in general. I've learned so many lessons from it, and that's why I keep coming back to do show after show, is because each one is so special and just creates such an amazing memory and time for me that nothing else really does. Activity-wise.
So I started doing theater because when I was a sophomore, I had Mr. Simon for English, and he was like, "Oh, like I'm doing this play. Anyone want to audition for it?" I was like, you know what? I have nothing better to do with my life, so I'll just go and do that instead. Because I quit doing sports at that point because I did it all freshman year. So I was like, all right, Mr. Simon, I'll do this. And I auditioned, and then he gave me a small role, but it was something. And that's when I met like a bunch of people. I was like, you know what, these people are fun, and I'll keep doing this for a while.
Silly.
Epson.
Euphoric.
Enchanting.
Influential.
Special.